Good morning and welcome to another episode of the After Parties Me, the Jury segment. I am Tam, your host, not your lawyer, but your nosy best friend. And this is where courtroom tea is served piping hot. Listen, I want to thank you guys for joining me this morning. And we're going to talk about today Trinity Pogue. This is Trinity. She is, or was at the time, a reigning pageant winner in Donaldson, Georgia, at the time of her arrest in January 2024. She was arrested for the unaliving of her boyfriend's 18-month-old son, JD. Good morning, Jen. Good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning so we can have this discussion as promised. And I will try to clue you guys in on as much as I know and have researched about this trial. So just another little quick update that this trial has already concluded. She was, in fact, found guilty. So we'll start there with this guilty plea, as you were, or guilty not plea verdict. So sorry. Let's start there.
On count one, it says, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. On counts 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, the verdict reads, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty of felony murder, 2 counts, aggravated battery, 2 counts, and cruelty to child in the first degree.
Okay, so there you have it. She was found guilty of felony murder, 2 counts of child cruelty, and felony aggravated battery. Okay. So I'm just going to take you guys back to what happened on January 13th, 2024. On that day, she was left alone with her boyfriend, Julian's 18-month-old son, JD. JD was a child that Julian had with another woman, but Julian was raising this son alone. And she was only left with him for about 30 minutes in her dorm room while he went to get pizza and drinks. And as he was returning back to the dorm room, she called him twice. And when he arrived, she gave varying accounts of what happened to JD, claiming that he fell from either the bed or a chair. Her story never really made sense. And after the medical examiner had time to examine JD's body, they say that because of a massive brain bleed and skull fractures, there is no way that such a shortfall could have caused this amount of damage. And so because of that, they determined that these injuries were due to blunt force trauma. And on January the 14th, the Georgia Southwestern State University campus police called in the help of the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, to investigate this case. And after several interviews and reviewing the evidence, Trinity was arrested. This is her mugshot. She was arrested for the unaliving of little JD, along with aggravated battery, felony murder, and first degree cruelty to a child. We had talked earlier too about, first of all, before I get into that, let's look at JD. Mm, mm. That's little JD. How could you not love that baby? Look at his sweet little face. Mm, that daggone Trinity. Trinity told her sweet mate and others that she did not have this child's best interest at heart. She shared with the father in a text message, basically that she didn't want this kid around, that she saw only resentment when she saw him, because what she ultimately wanted was a child of her own with his father, Julian. She didn't want this baby around. And when left alone, she made sure that he wouldn't be. I can't imagine having such disdain for a child this young. 18-month old. Like, what did he do to her? What did he do to deserve? Isn't he so cute, little big headed self? I thought maybe you was talking about her for a second, because she got a big head too. This is nasty work, okay? And to be able to tell people that this is how you felt is alarming. That no one acted when you shared that these were your feelings. When this father continued to have you around his son, this is Julian, to continue to have you around his child after you done shared with him your inability to love him. mm. Julian, I am surprised that Julian wasn't brought up on any type of neglect charges as well. Why? I mean, did he just think that she bluffing? She can't possibly mean that. If I just give them time alone, she'll grow to love my kid. Like, what could he have possibly been thinking? Like, I tried to look up young JD's mom, but they said that she has been out of the public view, and her name or her have not been mentioned much throughout this trial. Um, that it doesn't appear that she was involved, and Julian was raising this child on his own. Why that is remains a mystery. I'll continue to try to dig, because why wouldn't I? I'm nosy. I want to know what caused her to abandon her child and leave him with this guy who started off doing the right thing, but somewhere along the line, the right thing went wrong. I just realized that I don't have on my light. So let there be light. Yes, I'm going to be silly here too, because you light up my life. Okay. Uh back to the business at hand. Um, when Trinity was arrested, she was held without bond until her trial. And now she will do 30 years in prison after her guilty verdict. She will do 30 years in prison before she is eligible for parole. Now, ain't nobody say she was gonna get parole. Okay, she might not ever get parole, but she's going to spend at least 30 years behind bars before they will even consider letting her out. Um, I think that's the minimum that she has to do. I also talked to you guys about malice murder versus felony murder, and I said that I would give you definitions about those things. So I want to put little baby JD face back up here first before I start. Look at him. Oh, how precious. They are so sweet at this age, which is also why I just have such a hard time with this one, because look at the innocence. At this time, all they do is laugh and giggle, burp and spit up, poop their pants, and beg for cookies. Like, he's just starting to walk, pull up on things, and you don't find any of that cute or endearing. Instead, it's driving you crazy and creating a jealous spirit in you. And another thing, who crowned her a beauty queen? Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna move on. That's just my opinion. And you know what opinions are like. Everybody has one. Anyway, malice murder. It requires a specific intent to unalive. It applies when a death occurs during the commission of another dangerous felony or crime. Homicide committed with malice aforethought, meaning intent to unalive, extreme recklessness, um, for instance, planning and shooting someone with the intent to unalive them. Okay. And felony murder would be a death that occurs during the commission of a dangerous felony, burglary, robbery, kidnap, and it does not require intent. And so, for instance, a bank robbery gone wrong, and the bank robber shoots the teller accidentally, that would be considered a felony murder. So the difference here is for malice, it focuses on the intent, and for felony, it focuses on the dangerous act or crime, which in the example I gave would be the robbery. Okay, so I hope that helps with the different definitions for those two. Um, oh, Jen, do you mean this picture of Trinity? Oh my. Perhaps. I mean, you're not wrong. Good morning, Pitt. Thank you for joining me this morning. I mean, you're not wrong. Listen, they dug through the crates and tried to find the best photo they could for Miss Ma'am here. Just running her along hurting babies. And the fact that she cried so, like, what was her lawyers telling her, that she wasn't gonna do no time for this? I digress. That was the one, baby. They said, "This is it. This is it. Make no mistakes where you are. This is it." They say, "This the picture right here. This the one." I find it hilarious how, um, when people of color are arrested on such horrible charges, they find the worst videos, the most horrible pictures. They don't go back and find their graduation photo. No, no, no. You know, so it's really interesting to me that this would ever even be found in anybody's feed. But since it was found in someone's feed, I thought y'all should see it. The woman that they calling a pageant winner. I want to know who the other contestants were. Mm. Anyway, rest in peace to JD, who did not deserve his fate. Just 18 months on this earth he got to spend. And I want to tell you a little bit that JD's father, Julian here, Julian was also taking care of his mother, who um, had been stricken with cancer and had a fatal diagnosis, and a younger sister who also lived with him, was providing for everyone. And mere months after losing his son in this cruel way, I think they said 8 months later, his mother passed. 2024 was a rough year for this man. And it didn't have to be this way. I want to point out, too, that Trinity was only 18 years old. I think he was about 24. So, a little older than her, possibly a little more mature than she was, and probably really didn't understand that she was not ready for the responsibility that he was uh, putting on her. It's definitely this right here, Pitt. It's how media shapes perception. They oftentimes um, want us to see the good over here and the bad over there, right? But in this case, the pageant winner was a monster. Um, she, I thought I turned this ringer off, just out here embarrassing me. Sorry for the interruption. Pardon the interruption. Anyway, but sorry, I had to check and see what the notification was since I was notified. I mean, why wouldn't I look? Uh, he probably, I wonder if he wanted, needed, or desired assistance for his child. And so there was the reasoning for trying to have this ready made family with her. Uh, it makes me wonder if she had ever hurt the baby before, Jen says. It's very interesting. I hadn't even thought of that. It's hard to believe that this is the first time and that it would be this extreme. Now that you mention that, that is hard to conceive that the very first time that she assaults him it's this extreme. But I will tell you that her sweet mate testified that she had shared with her that every time she looked at the child, she just wanted to run him over with her car. The baby. Why? What this baby do to you? That you would want to run him over with your car. This sweet face. Sure. Anyway, may she get exactly what she deserves in that prison cell. You know, people don't really like people that harm children in prison. They don't like that very much. They don't have much sympathy for people that harm children in any way. So, you know, may she get what she deserves when she gets there. Because I don't think that she'll be able to convince anyone that this was an accident. 30 minutes. This simply took 30 minutes. Like, I wonder what happened in that dorm room. Did she hit him with something? Did she fling him across the room? Like, did she kick him off the bed? What did she do that would cause the type of injuries that this baby sustained? A fractured skull and a brain bleed so severe. Um, okay, let's get back to some of y'all. You said, well, damn, to which part, Jen? To all of it? Anyway, let me give y'all a little Brian Walsh update. This is a good time to segue there. Uh, so Brian, the Commonwealth rested this week, and so did the defense, without calling a single witness. No expert testimony, so that we can understand how Anna developed SADS, sudden adult death, or sudden unexpected death is what they're calling it. No explanation as to how that could have happened. No telling us, explaining to us what happened that morning when you noticed that she did not awaken with you. Um, no explanation as to how this panic came over you, where you felt that you had to dispose of her. Just leave us all to wonder. And, you know, the defense, it's their absolute right not to put on a defense. The burden is always on the prosecution, the state, the Commonwealth to prove their case. But in a case like this, where there's no body and a lot of Google searches, a lot of data point and location history, a lot of videos of you disposing of something in trash bags, a lot of DNA evidence. You got to tell us something. Now, the jury will not know that he pled guilty to the lesser two charges, which was the disposal of her body and lying to the police in an investigation. They will not know that. Hi, Tone. Thank you for sneaking in then. um, yeah, so they won't know that part because the judge ruled that telling them that information could be prejudicial, and it also could have them considering those pleas when considering his punishment. And so you don't want to do that. There is a rule of law that says that you should avoid doing that because that's not what they should be considering. They should only be considering the evidence that was put before them and whether or not he is guilty of first degree unaliving. Um, I think that with in the beginning, I didn't see first degree. I didn't see how they could prove it. Um, because his story was going to be I was not responsible for her death, but I did lie to you guys and I did hide or dispose of her. Um, and that was wrong. But I'm not the one that unalived her. And in order for that to fly, I feel and I matter because I'm the jury in this situation. I feel that I would have needed to hear from him. I would have needed to hear how this could be. How did we get here? That's what I would have wanted to know. And without hearing that from him, it's hard for me to not see this as first degree unaliving. The one thing that I thought he had on his side was that most of these Google searches happened after her unaliving. And he was searching things like um, how long does it take a body to smell and how to dispose of, how to dismember. Like he was searching those things after. He wasn't, what he didn't search is how to unalive your wife. You know, the things that he Googled before was stuff like um, what's the best place to file for divorce for a man. Um, he is as guilty as the person that did it, no matter what. That's how you feel, Tone. You feel that even if he didn't unalive her, the fact that he disposed of her and lied in the police investigation, that he is as guilty as the perpetrator. Okay. And a jury could feel that way. Definitely. But that still doesn't say first degree. Cuz I'm not alleging that that he shouldn't be found guilty of some form of unaliving. But I'm thinking more second degree and not first degree. And the reason why is because in this case, first degree would mean that it was his intention to unalive her. You know, it could have been a crime of passion, um, heat of the moment. So I'm only talking about the different degrees of the unaliving. And I just didn't see first degree. And I still really am having a hard time getting there. And I'm going to tell you why. The night before, which was New Year's Eve for them, they had a friend over to ring in the new year. Brian was cooking, serving, they were toasting to the new year. The champagne box, they all signed the box with, um, different little quotes, going into the new year for success and da 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 da. And I have a hard time believing that while he was doing all of that, he was like, and as soon as this mofo leave, I'm going to be done with her. I have a hard time with that. But one of her, the friend that was there that night, he testified that this is the one thing that may be able to push me over the edge to first degree. He testified that while they were sitting there at the kitchen island and Brian was in earshot, Anna says to her friend Jim, "Hey, let's take a picture for Will Fostow, who was her lover." And we know that Brian had Googled him on Christmas or around Christmas time. So, like a little over a week earlier. And the the Commonwealth was trying to allude to the fact that perhaps Brian was aware of this affair. They don't have any real proof that he knew about the affair, but they're saying that that could have been a motive for this crime. But the fact that they don't have proof that he knew for sure that she was having an affair with this man makes me still hesitant to say first degree. Now, do I think that he did it? Oh, absolutely. I absolutely think he did it. I just have to look at the evidence that is before me. See, here with us, you, me being the jury in this case, I can I can suspect anything I want. I can say whatever I want. But on a real jury, that's not what you're supposed to do. There's not supposed to be any of this conjecture. You're supposed to look at the evidence that's put before you and say, this proves or does not prove this crime, the alleged crime. And I just, I can't get there with what they gave to us. I can't. I can't get there. I want to get there because I really think he did it. But I can't get there. Not in good conscience. I still feel like I would have needed a little more from the Commonwealth. And possibly they didn't have it. Um, because what they had was garbage bags thrown all over the place, different dumpsters. Some they were able to locate and go through, and the ones that they weren't able to locate and go through had some of Anna's personal effects, her ID, I think a COVID vaccination card, a wallet or a purse or something. Um, and I think another bag had like some bloody towels or something. But that doesn't prove first degree unaliving when he's saying, I disposed of her. It could just simply be that the act after the unaliving is how these towels got bloody. And then I had to clean it all up. Now, the man was going all around town shopping for like one of those uh Carhartt jumpsuit kind of things, you know, like that painters wear or whatever. He went out, he bought one of those and all these different cleaning supplies, and bags, ammonia, bleach, and baking soda, rags, Brian. Anyway, so I do believe he did it. I just don't know if he planned to do it, or, when the friend Jim left the house, did he confront her about her affair and it got a little heated and he lost it? I mean, he was in there cooking, could have had a little kitchen knife and been like, lady, about sick of your shit. You out here making a fool out of me. You made a fool of me. Tell me why. Okay, anyway, so I don't know. We shall see. The verdict is pending, and we'll be back here to talk about it as soon as I I don't know if they'll be out very long. I don't know. What do you think? How long would it take you to convict? I think he'll be convicted of something for sure. Well, actually, there I don't think there's any. They were discussing uh the charges. They have a charge conference before the jury gets the case, and I didn't hear a lesser included charge like a second degree. I didn't hear. I didn't hear that. So I don't believe that second degree is on the table. So he might be going down for this one. There's no other options. He either did it or he didn't. And I don't believe, just based off of his history, the fact that they heard that he was a con artist, that he had this federal case pending, or not pending, that he had been convicted in this federal case uh, where he was selling fake artwork for tens of thousands of dollars and sending it through the mail. That's how it became federal. Can't do that. Tone. Tone said I couldn't be a juror because in 20 minutes I'll have my verdict. That's why we're here. So we can have judgment the first time we hear of something. We like guilty. He definitely did it. We can have a little more fun with it and give all of our opinions and not be penalized for it. That's why I love it over here. Because you're right. Listen, I've been following this case for a little while and have made my mind up. Now, I went into the trial saying, well, let me hear what they got. The only thing that my opinion changed on is whether or not it's first degree. I really believe that there is a world where they had an argument and in the heat of the moment, he snapped. And I think that that could justify a second degree charge instead of a first degree. And the difference in that is the amount of time that he could be potentially looking at. So, whether this will be a life sentence or less. than life. Whether or not he'll ever get a chance on in this lifetime to be with his children again. He was an upstanding citizen for sure. Listen, make sure that you guys like the live, share the live. Even after I'm done, go ahead and share it to your friends and family. Let them know how amazing it is over here and how much fun we have on Saturdays. I think next Saturday may be a little difficult for me because we actually have a Saturday game here. It's a conference game and it starts at 5 p.m., which means that I need to leave home around noon time. So, might be a little difficult to go live next Saturday, but if we do, um it'll be a shortened live, maybe perhaps 30 minutes, and we can go over the verdict in this trial if we already have one, and we can touch on whatever upcoming trial I'm going to be covering. So I'll be able to give you some background on that. And we won't dig too deep. We'll keep it kind of light and no more than 30 minutes next Saturday, okay? What do you mean, huh? Huh, what? If you can, huh, you can hear. What is your question, Tone? I'm saying that next Saturday when I go live here, it'll be shortened because we have a home game next Saturday. And the game starts at 5 p.m. So that means I need to leave home by noon. I would have had to have cooked my dishes, packed my car, and be out the door. And Ari's girlfriend will be in town, so we're all, traveling together. Why are they playing on Saturday? Okay, so at the end of the year in December, there are Saturday and Sunday games as we're heading toward the end of the year. So it'll probably be two games on Saturday, 5 and 8 probably, and then the rest of the games will be played on Sunday as usual, and it'll be like that until the playoffs. There's only a few more games left, so that's why. And it happens every year. Perhaps your team never plays on a Saturday because they're not good enough. Nobody wants to see them on a nationally televised stage. Boo. No, it's not during Christmas only. It's the last couple of Saturdays in December and then all the way through January when we have playoffs. So, yeah. I'm so glad that I could help you out on that one. Anyway, I'm so glad we had this time together. Remember, the world has never met another you. Go out and be great in it. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this segment of Me, the Jury, and for us to actually have this conversation, break down these two cases. And I will see you guys back here next Saturday. Remember, it'll be an abbreviated live. We'll talk about the verdict in the Brian Walsh case, and I will give you guys a sneak peek into whichever trial I'm going to be following next. I love you guys. Have an amazing Saturday.